What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm back at the LA River on the Lancashire Bridge, the bridge that was destroyed during the Great Flood of 1938, the flood that killed more than 100 people in what was the largest natural disaster in Los Angeles history at the time. Now, the bridge has obviously been rebuilt and the infrastructure has evolved, but this Great Flood of 1938 changed the course of the river and Los Angeles history forever. Let's get into it. The storm started on February 27th, 1938 with a steady, typical Los Angeles rainstorm. Within 24 hours, downtown Los Angeles saw nearly 4 inches of rain, with initial flooding that brought debris and currents surging to doorsteps of homes and stalled automobiles by the thousands on LA streets. There was a 15-hour respite from the rain, but what came next was some of the heaviest storms that Los Angeles had seen at least since 1862. The water poured down and overwhelmed the LA River from the valley down to Long Beach in a storm that would last for 5 days. The most severe flooding was in the San Fernando Valley as the water rushed down from the mountainsides trying to find the lowest point, the LA River Basin, but it was already saturated as the soils could no longer absorb water, and they went into the LA River, which was mostly unchanneled and wild, and there the destruction and damage really began to take shape. The sheer force of the river took out bridges from Lancashire to Long Beach. Homes were swept off of hillsides into the river, and lives were lost for anybody unfortunate enough to be in the path of the flooding or in the path of debris, concrete chunks, or homes that were swept away by the flooding. The damage was felt as far south as Orange County as farmland was flooded, canyon passes were cut off, and rail lines were forced to shut down for nearly 3 weeks. Many areas such as Van Nuys were left completely isolated as all adjoining bridges were washed away and railroad tracks were left looking like this. In total, over 11 inches fell over the 5 days, and between 113 and 115 people were killed by the flooding. 5,600 buildings were destroyed, and another 1,500 were badly damaged. It truly was destruction, the likes of which Los Angeles hadn't seen up to that point. So the devastation did lead to civil engineering decisions that shaped modern Los Angeles. Some of the changes that followed the catastrophe included new flood control provisions, complete channelization of the LA River after the flooding, even though work really did begin before the Great Flood. And the Sepulveda Dam and Hanson Dam were added to the LA River, while the Santa Ana River got the Prado Dam. And because of those infrastructure improvements, we have not seen floods of that magnitude in the 85 years since the Great Flood of 1938. So the Lancashire Bridge was the site of one of the greatest tragedies in Los Angeles history and its biggest natural disaster at the time, but it changed the infrastructure and the course of the river forever. So it's important that we recognize the Great Flood of 1938. All right, LA, it's been a minute.